Hello there, this is John from Fantastic Tales and Adventures. You're very welcome here today. By now, hopefully you've seen my video on the empty page, which by any other name is basically about writer's block. However, if you haven't, and if you feel it would be of use to you, there is a link for it on screen just now for you to click. Go ahead and do that, and come back to this video when you're ready. Okay, done? Before we get down to the nuts and bolts of what it makes up a good story, I wanted to take a look at one of the less glamorous elements of writing. I'm talking about editing your work and giving feedback. Today I'm going to focus on editing. You've possibly heard that writing is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. It is my experience that this is true, and that a significant portion of the perspiration comes from editing your work and then incorporating feedback. Now, to do editing, we need something to edit first, and you have a number of options here. 1. Use work that you've previously written, whether on your own time or as in response to kicker lines you've found on other videos. 2. Write in response to the kicker lines I'm going to pop up on screen just now. Now, do this part solo. The kicker lines are: it was the largest blank I had ever seen. This is the story of how we got a blank for a pet. When I went to the dump last week, blank. When I went to the woods the other day, I blank. Or, just write something spontaneously. The kicker lines are only there as prompts. If you have an idea, by all means go for it. Okay, so now you know what you're writing. Pause the video, go away and write freestyle. Don't stop and don't edit at this point. Aim for between 500 and 1,000 words so that you have something substantial to edit and have feedback given on. If you can't manage that just now, write as much as you can, but do be honest with yourself. Can you write for a bit longer and include a little bit more? Because if you can, you should. Once you have written your piece, you want to be editing it. Simply come back to this video and I'll be here ready to help. It is my observation that some writers will write their first draft and then immediately share it with peers for feedback. There is certainly validity in seeking a second set of eyes to give a new perspective and to spot the mistakes that you couldn't. However, it is precisely this reason that I do not like sharing my work at this point. This isn't a fear of judgment, it is a respect for people giving their time and feedback. I want them spending their time spotting the things that I missed. They shouldn't be spending their time highlighting the careless errors of spelling and language that are inevitable in my first drafts. So, that is why I always do a couple of edits on my work before sharing. Firstly, spelling. In this day and age of computers, there is very little reason for most spelling mistakes to survive the first draft. If you're typing your work using a word processor, chances are it has a spell checker. Your first redraft should include running the spell checker. This will clear up any careless errors that creep in when you're writing freestyle. Then, have a look through your writing. Are there misspellings this checker couldn't get? For instance, confusions of same-sounding words with different meanings. Here are some examples that I'm going to pop up on screen. To, and to. There, and there. No and no. Your and your. If you think you're likely to get muddled by one or more of these groupings, keep a list of the various words and the meanings so you can keep yourself right. Many word processors have a search function that allows you to find specific words, meaning you can actually check every one if you so wish. Next, read your work aloud. I cannot stress enough how important this is. Reading your work aloud forces you to slow yourself down, and even to an extent stops you skipping over parts and filling in the blanks from memory. It is also a good way of spotting clumsy language and word repetition. By this point, you will also have a feel for your story, and if there are things that need to be adjusted or included, which you can go ahead at this point and just do. This sounds like a lot of work to do for an early edit, doesn't it? That's because it is. Remember, 99% perspiration. A significant amount of time spent writing is actually reworking it, rather than simply writing it. Writing is a long haul, but the payoff hearing someone complimenting your work is almost indescribable. Don't sabotage your work through a lack of care at this stage. Now, we're just about ready for sharing our work and asking for feedback. However, before you can ask for feedback, there are a few habits that you can get into that will give you the best results. First, know what you're trying to achieve. This ranges from as broad as what genre you're writing in to what effect you want to have on the reader at a specific point. Second, ask those feeding back if you achieved what you intended. People providing feedback will undoubtedly provide more, however, this is the first opportunity for you to find out if you're having the intended impact. Third, be open to the feedback. You may not always like what you hear, however, going through the process will improve your writing and help build your resilience, which is a necessary attribute for a writer to have. Now, there is a fourth habit, but I will deal with that in my video on giving effective feedback. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up there just now. Keep an eye out for the video on giving feedback. A button will appear on screen linking to it. As always, I hope this video has been of use to you. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and if you want to follow me on social media and my blog, the links are in the description. Also, don't forget you can support this channel through Patreon, the link is in the description and a button is on screen just now. All the best, happy writing!